the economy contracting as calls to hike the minimum wage keep raging. Now the list of companies planning to replace human jobs with machines is growing. So if we see wages maximizing, will it mean more human workers will be disappearing and cause the economy to shrink even more? Hi, everyone. I'm Brenda Butner. This is Bulls and Bears. Here they are, the Bulls and Bears this week. Gary B. Smith, Tracy Burns, Jonas Max Ferris, John Layfield, along with Sasha Burns. Welcome to everybody. Okay, Gary B., are we looking at more job losses here?
Brenda, I think it's inevitable. In fact, the minimum wage affects the very jobs, many of which can be replaced by machines. We saw it years ago, by the way, with bank tellers. Now almost everyone uses an ATM. We've seen it with toll takers on the turnpikes, now with the Easy Pass. We've seen McDonald's experimenting in Europe with self-checkout. At my supermarket, I'm sure many of yours, you have the same kind of thing, self-checkout. So as minimum wages go up, it really almost forces the company's hand, and they say, well, wait a second, if I have to pay $10 or $15 or $20 an hour, maybe I can do that cheaper, simpler, faster with machines. And believe me, the robotics industry is happy to comply.
Well, Jonas, new technology has been replacing humans for decades, centuries. I mean, go back to the cotton gin. Doesn't it mean the economy is evolving? Is it such a bad thing?
No, every one of these technologies is an improvement, and that's why we lead in technology. You could almost make the case really low wages, like some countries have, would lead to no technology, but because you wouldn't need to replace the workers with high-tech things. You know, you can make the case that raising wages artificially through unions or minimum wage could push some workers, some jobs offshore or to states that have lower wages. But the technology is going to happen at any wage rate. When they invent a driverless car at Google, that's going to be a long time of a lot of unemployment for taxi drivers, regardless of what the wage rate is, because it's a better technology than having somebody not drive very well and play the wrong radio when he's in your car with you.
Mm-hmm. Well, John, you know, Amazon and other companies say that this is not going to stop. This is not going to mean that they're going to fire workers, but will it stop them from hiring workers? And our job market is so tepid right now. Can we afford that?
We're going to have to afford it. Amazon says they're not going to replace humans with robots. They've got about 1,000 robots right now. By the end of the year, they're going to have 10,000 robots in their warehouse. This is inevitable, but I do think it's going to be exacerbated and sped up by the minimum wage being raised. Where we're going to in this economy, the steam engine greatly helped our economy. This is a natural transition for the economy. But remember, if you add Twitter and WhatsApp together, you have a $37 billion valuation. ArcelorMittal has a $27 billion. They have 230,000 employees. That combined Twitter and WhatsApp have 3,000. We are creating wealth in this country, but we're not creating jobs.
Tracy, okay, take a look at a small business owner, and the wages he pays have to go up. He has to look at a way to you know, deal with his margins. So replacing humans with machines makes sense to them.
Right. It'll pay off. When you purchase something, eventually you'll get your money back on it. Look, I don't think we're losing jobs. We're creating different ones, and maybe we should look to our educational system to train kids for these jobs. It's all about IT, right? We need kids to make this equipment so that we can replace people. We need somebody out there to make the drone that's going to deliver wine to my house on a Friday night. We need the people out there doing this kind of stuff. So it's a replacement factor. The kid that created WhatsApp, well, we need the next kid to create the drone for me, because that's where we're going.
Well, Sasha, what do you think? Is maximizing the minimum wage, is that going to lead to robotics replacing humans?
Well, I think, first of all, I don't think raising the minimum wage from $7.25 would be maximizing, but I'm agreeing with kind of everybody here. It's going to happen anyway. People are going to use technology because it's more cost efficient, but also maybe because it does a better job, because it's more effective. And as Tracy said, what we have to do is train for new jobs. You didn't have a car mechanic until you had a car, and that's a better job, a better paying job than somebody who drove the carriage. But the problem is that how are you going to get these people trained if you, on the other hand, say that we shouldn't spend the money on training? Because from what I'm hearing, the companies aren't going to do that either. And I know that I can't imagine that you guys support that the government would pay for that kind of job training.
Well, Gary B., the problem here is that robots don't spend money. I mean, if you hire a worker, they're going to go out and buy things. Robots aren't going to buy things, except maybe, who was it, Rosie on the Jetsons or whatever.
I guess the counter to that argument would be that the company that makes the robots, their employees buy things. So I guess
and the ATM machine is making $3 every time I go to the wrong one.
But I want to go back to a point that Sasha made, because she did kind of brush by the whole effect of raising the minimum wage. She says, as long as, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I think she was saying as long as the new technology is more cost efficient, we move there. That's exactly what happens when you raise the minimum wage. Someone at $10 an hour is not as cost efficient as someone at $7 an hour. If I can get a robot that over the course that I amortize it, that only costs me $8 an hour, I'm going to move to the robot. If I can still get the person in there though for $7 an hour, I'm going to stick with that.
So Gary, you could say that Borders would still be around if Amazon didn't exist, which was able to provide things at a cheaper rate because you do it over the internet instead of having people in a store. I mean, that's not about whether you make $7 or $10. It's about this is the way that we're going. The internet is less expensive. You don't have travel agents anymore, right? That wasn't because of minimum wage.
Well, right. I don't think that Borders and Barnes & Noble are in tough times or have gone out of business because of the workers in their store. I think the whole internet argument was the case there, and I'm not sure
but
paying
that's
people
the point.
$7
It's
or
technology, right? I mean, the internet has changed how we do things.
Yeah, exactly. Because, okay, yes, but we're talking about raising the minimum wage on an employee-employee basis. Companies like Amazon replaced a whole lot more. They replaced the whole bricks and mortar structure that a Barnes & Noble had, not just the employees there.
Jonas?
You know, capitalists and patriots, we're not supposed to root for John Henry against the steam drill in 1870 because he died competing against the steam drill. The steam drill is what America's all about. It's the innovation. Someday we'll all have robots. Maybe Tracy could get the wine delivered at noon on Monday because we won't have to work because our robots will do it for us. I don't know, but we don't want to fear that and favor the ugly, labor-intensive jobs. That is not the goal of an economy.
We're not arguing against technology, Jones. All the crux of the argument is, will raising the minimum wage hurt jobs and enhance automation? It has to. That's the argument here. I'm not saying
isn't enhancing automation good. That's my point.
Yes, because back to the pizza shop that we talk about here all the time and the dishwasher. If I pay a dishwasher an annual salary, is that cheaper than me going out and buying the new GE dishwasher? And at the end of the day, I'm going to buy the actual appliance because it is cheaper for me. I don't have payroll costs. I don't have to pay health care to it. And so, therefore, I'm going to go get myself a fancy stainless steel dishwasher.
You know what? Drink your wine and don't even worry about the dishes anyway. All right.
That's what kids are for.
That's
Give them a
last
quarter.
word.